6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. It is one of my favorite shows. I was just telling Carol Ann that if I were at home and had nothing to do with this, I would be tuning in every week to her show. And that's probably a reflection of many of you who listen every week. Carol Ann Baldwin is here right now. If you have a lawn or a garden or just a potted plant in your condominium and you need advice about any of those things, this is a good time to call. The number is 622-9622. Good morning, Carol Ann.
Good morning, Larry. How are you today?
Good.
Good. It's a beautiful day out there.
It really is. 90 degrees expected today.
Supposed to be 90.
Not
We're gonna
bad.
get some rain maybe this afternoon.
Yeah, we got some yesterday. And
Yep. And anybody who's new to the area and have seen or heard some of the lightning that we're getting and the thunder, and you see on the evening news and such where they'll run the radar showing you where all the lightning strikes were, it's normal.
It is normal.
we get those horrible thunderstorms.
But we had a few years where it was abnormal. We weren't getting them, remember?
Right.
But now we're back
we were in drought conditions at that time. But for those folks who are new to year-round living in the state of Florida or Central Florida, some of those thunderstorms, those are normal. That's So do you have a lot of people? It scares people sometimes.
Do you have a lot of people that never ever had a garden because they moved from an urban area, and now they've always wanted to live in a place like this, and they have a garden for the first time?
Not that they've never ever had anything. They just had very limited based upon they were working, so they're now retired. They had, the yard. They mowed the yard kind of thing is all they had maybe. Or they had gardens when they were children, but then went into an urban area and were in a condominium or an apartment or something like that and did. And they're trying to get back at it. And of course with us here in Central Florida, it's a whole new world as compared to other places.
Disney song just came into my mind.
There you go. And so it's a whole new experience, no matter what your background is.
And you have a phone call. And by the way, everybody's invited to call. 622-9622 is the number. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning, Carol Ann.
Morning.
See, we're running way ahead of schedule here. April is almost like late May, early June weather. The average high and low is 53.82.
Yeah.
And we're way. I don't think we've been below 60 for God. Almost seems like a month now already.
Right. Well, that's.
And we're getting those all those thunderstorms from the fronts coming off the Gulf and the ocean, meeting in the middle of the state, and it's way too early for that kind of weather yet. But the rain is always welcomed. It looks like we're going to have a very wet summer.
Yeah, actually, this rain we were getting right now is actually part of a different front. This is actually something that's going on elsewhere because they're getting all the rain up north also. So this isn't necessarily our normal summer clash of ocean breezes over the center of the state. This is moreover coming from a frontal system.
Well, according to the weather stations in Orlando, these are the fronts that are colliding. That's what they've been saying.
Yeah. Well, one of the ones I had was just it's part of a front, but not necessarily that our usual. But no, it doesn't matter one way or the other. We're getting some rain, and that's a good thing because April has a tendency to be very dry.
Oh, it's one of the driest months.
Yeah.
Exactly. See, I'm waiting. I've got a lot of grass seed now, and I want to plant or lay it down. And I'm hoping that the other day I'm glad I didn't have my seed down because we made an inch and a half in about a half an hour, and that would have washed me out. What would you recommend to lay the seed down to cover it up with so you can help prevent a washout like that?
A washout like that? Well, you could put it down, and you can either put just a real thin layer of sand down on it, or there's always black cow. You can run that through your spreader, and just again, it's going to be a really, really thin layer. If you're just top dressing for with seed in an existing lawn, it shouldn't wash off too easily. If when you put it down, you make sure you get it down to the soil and get some water on it right away. You don't want to wait for rain events to do the watering in for you. You want to get it down in there. So whether or not you're taking the rake and making sure it's making contact down there, but you can take plain old sand, black cow. There's a lawn soil out there that's also weed free. I'd stay away from the cheap topsoils. Topsoils are not necessarily screened for weeds.
Yeah. Would you think mulch would be all right to put on top of the seed?
Mulch is going to be kind of heavy. Mulch tries to prevent stuff from coming up.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you don't want to do that.
Yeah, no, you don't want to do that. If you were going to put it down and say you had an area, you might take a piece of frost blanket. If you had put it down and say they're calling for, and it really looks like it's going to be a frog strangler, and you have some frost blanket, you could take and roll that piece of frost blanket out on the ground and let it sit there while the rainstorm's going on, and then pick it back up.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
The other day, I went and bought the black cow manure, and two big bags, and I mixed it in my circles that I have in my front yard where I planted my flowers. It seems to be a very excellent product. What kind of amazes me, how come if it's manure, it doesn't have an odor?
Because it's composted. It has had a chance to age.
Yeah. That takes the smell away, huh?
Right, because that manure is hot at just in its own way. It's hot to plants and things, very high nitrogen content. And that nitrogen, based upon the carbon content of it as well, when they pile it up in those, I think they call them windrows, out there, and the center of that will get up over 120, 130 degrees, and it cooks out the pathogens, cooks out those items that are going to be what would be causing the odor. Yeah, when you pick that up, it just feels like very nice soil, and with the black cow product, it actually is just cow manure. It's not compost with cow manure. It's cow manure that has been composted. It's so it's a high quality product.
When would you recommend now reapplicating that around my flowers in a couple of months or later on? Or?
Yeah, later on I would say because if you just recently did that, you get your flowers done. That's sort of like it's a very mild fertilization without going the chemical route, and you would do that every couple of months or so. This is April now, say June-ish.
Yeah. Just sprinkle it on the top and be fine, huh?
Right, yeah. You usually, when you're doing that, you're normally going to put a couple of inches down or try to work some of that into the soil. If you've got, you don't want to overmound anything because that changes the grade, but you'll notice that after a few months with the rain, with irrigation and things like that, soil seems to disappear. And some of it is that it washes out. Some of it has the organic material in it that's just breaking down, and it just reduces the volume. So when you're adding some more to that, and if you can just if you can scratch it in a little bit, it's going to help to hold that, to get that down in where you're going. But you want to put more than just a light sprinkling on there.
Right. I know you're talking about soil disappearing. I've got a lot of trees that I do have left. I know there's a lot of roots that are being exposed through, the soil being washed away. And I don't know what I'm going to do, if I'm going to lay some sod on that or what to do, but it's something I have to tackle later on this year.
Yeah, something to look at. Just remember that adding a lot of soil or taking any away can be just as detrimental when it washes away normal. Yeah. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a little break and we'll be right back. If you want to call Carol Ann, the phone line is open. The number is 622-9622. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. A warm day with clouds and sun today with a shower and thunderstorm around mainly during the afternoon hours. The high 84 to 88. For tonight, mostly cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm in the area early. Low 66 to 70. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a shower or thunderstorm around at the afternoon. High 84 to 88. Thursday, variable cloudiness with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. The high 83 to 87. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Cookies, 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 cookies. We go
When you
cookie
want something
eating
special and fun for any occasion, get cookies. That's right. The Great American Cookie Company in the Paddock Mall, Ocala will make a delicious, fun-filled delight just for you. You might notice that I said fun and delicious more than once. That's because I can't say it enough. The next time you're at the mall, be sure and stop by or call 352-237-2557 to place your order.
Cookies, cookies,
Yum.
cookies, cookies. We go cookie eating cookies.
The Great American Cookie Company.
Hi, Danny Werfel here. Get moving with Florida Credit Union's fast and easy loan approval process.
Let Florida Credit Union start up a new car loan for you today. No more waiting, hassles, or stop signs. You can even apply online. With a strong financial team behind you, you can enjoy great rates and fast approvals.
It's all about personalized service and a streamlined process.
Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life.
Real estate is the largest and most personal investment that any of us will ever make. Be sure to tune in Tuesdays at 10 a.m. when Bob Kennedy, owner of Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty, will be answering your questions and discussing real estate. So remember, that's Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Call 622-9622 with your questions. It pays to be an informed buyer or seller. This is news you can use from Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty and your friends here at WOCA. All right, 18 minutes after 9 o'clock, we're in the garden with Carol Ann Baldwin. She's here to answer your questions about your lawn, your garden, and everything related to that. The phone number is 352-622-9622. And Carol Ann, you have somebody waiting patiently. Good morning. Thank you for waiting. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning, Larry and Carol Ann.
Morning.
This is Ann. Listen, there was an article in yesterday's Star Banner on the Life page, and it said, robot gnomes for your garden.
Oh, no.
Yes, and you need to read this because it's just a wonderful article. It says, first of all, they got one that does your weeding or something, just goes around and weeds everything while you sit on the porch and watch it.
Okay.
It's true, but they give prices for these things.
Wow.
That's $59.99. Then there's some kind of glasses you wear that you can examine your plants with, and you can. It was developed by NASA.
Wow.
And that costs $69.99. There's another thing, Arrow Gardener. This miracle grows indoor growing incubator.
Okay.
And I don't know if I'm not reading the whole thing. That's $199.95. Now this is the thing for Larry. This is the Robo Mow, and this thing it's kind of like the driverless car,
Right.
the car that drives itself or whatever you call it. That's what this is going to do. It's made by Honda and Bosch and Husqvarna. I can never say that thing.
Yeah, Husqvarna.
It's a three thing that you have to do, and that's only $1,195. And so you'll have
Throw two at us, yeah.
so you won't have to mow your yard anymore. They'll mow it for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, honey, if you're listening, cut the article out for me. Don't throw that one in the compost. I mean, in the
It's on the
recycle.
Life,
Yeah.
Life page. where they have all-
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, he's got prices for these things, so we can all go out there and you can. Depending on how big your place is, maybe you'll only need one of those mowers.
There you
maybe
go.
This is something you could use some of these things because he always wants the latest
The
technology.
little gadgets going on. I'll have to look at that.
This, if you haven't heard about this, you need to read the article and rush right out and get one or two.
Get in line for those ones. I'll have to read the article when I get home today.
I mean, I guess they're real because he names.
Right. Your manufacturers and right. Oh, and I'm sure
it has a price unless this is some fantasy thing. But I know those gnomes are alive and well, and they hide.
Yes, they will. Yeah, watch out. If you got ones, we don't need any more that are any more fancy than that are out there. They're dangerous enough. Yeah, we don't need.
And we've got, what was I trying? Oh, snails are alive and well.
Yes, they are.
I don't know. I guess my chickens haven't been out enough to eat them all because I think they would eat them because they ate all my Those grasshoppers I don't like.
Oh, the lubber grasshoppers. Well, good. I'm glad they're taking care of those. Yeah, chickens will probably find them.
The air potatoes coming up.
It's still early on those.
Oh no!
It is still early, but hopefully, yeah, I'm watching for that too. Just on some of that, it's on the air potato because I too have had an issue with the air potato for years and years, and with that air potato beetle that came through last year, and I'm not sure, it might have even been around a little bit the year before. I did not see the reproduction, the little tubers, the little bulblets being dropped last winter when the vines, because the vines didn't get a chance to grow.
Dug out or cleaned out around the place where I had, just tons of the vines coming up.
Right.
I had a huge pile of them there one year of the actual potato things.
Right.
And there weren't any.
Right.
There were zip.
If you want to try to encourage your chickens to go after the snails and such, if you've got some scratch, throw some of your scratch over in the area where you have the biggest snail issue. And encourage them to go over there, and maybe they just haven't found them yet, is what it is. And once you show them where they're at, they may go and have a heyday with it.
Okay, because I haven't let them out too much because of the rain. I don't want them out in the rain.
They don't care.
And of course, if it rains, they just come up and stand on the porch.
Right. Yeah, and when it stops raining, they'll go back out. Yep. They're not that dumb.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for the call.
Okay, we'll talk with you later. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you.
Yeah. Some of those. I will have to look at that article. My husband usually is pretty good at finding me things for me to read on that stuff because I don't always get home. By the time I get home, it's dinner, and next thing you know, I'm nodding off. So. No, hopefully he'll find me that article. But yeah, with the snails, I've heard it from more than one person that the snails are starting to really become an issue this year. And it seems a little early, and that's probably because we're getting a little bit of rain, so they're coming up. We didn't have a whole lot of, to me, we really didn't have a whole lot of a winter. But with the rains that we're starting to get, a little bit of rain now, that you may see that problem. They usually present themselves as holes right in the middle of leaves. So sort of an odd place. Yeah. Grasshoppers and caterpillars will chew from the edges of leaves and chew into the middle, whereas snail and slugs will actually chew from they'll make a hole right in the middle, or you'll see slime trails maybe on your patio, on glass doors and things like that. Yeah, on your screen, it's kind of weird now.
I stepped on one the other day. I took the dog out. I had my shoes on, thank goodness, and it was not small.
No.
I felt bad, first of all, because I'm sure I killed it.
Yeah, it's all right.
So you don't care. But see, it was about... I am not exaggerating.
Wow.
I mean...
That was a slug or a
snail.
A snail. Oh, with a shell and all.
I stepped on this. Yeah, I was just bringing the dog back in. I didn't have my glasses on or whatever. I wasn't paying attention.
Where you were going. Yeah.
All of a sudden, crunch. I said, what the heck was that?
Oh.
And it was a snail.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully a bird came through and had himself a nice little meal.
But large. Very large.
They've been eating well. That's the issue with those when they start getting big. Because I don't think we really have too much problem with any of those real imported ones that have been a problem. I'll have to check, on some of that, but to look it up.
And you have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Yes, I have got 3 crepe myrtles, and one of them has a lot of moss on the stems and stuff. Do I need to worry about that, or just try to get it off, or just not worry about it at all?
You don't have a big worry with it. You might want to try to remove some of it. If it's the actual moss, you could try to spray it with some copper fungicide. With a liquid copper, because copper is toxic to mosses and bromeliads and things like that. So you could try to do that, but usually if the population of the moss seems to be getting greater and greater, you need to either increase the vigor of the plant or realize that maybe the plant is coming, towards its end as well.
Okay, I got another question. I have a tree that's got all these little holes in the sides of it and everything like this, and I've seen ants going up and down, but it's like I guess it's probably 10 foot tall, but it's like a little maple tree.
Okay, sounds like, but little holes into the sides of it. There could be a borer going into that. There's not much you can spray on topically for borers because it's not going to go through the tree. But the systemic, the merit type products that you would use as a drench around at the root zone would be absorbed by the tree, and in order to kill the borers that are inside that tree.
Right. Well, it may not be borers. It's still putting out leaves and everything. It's doing real good.
Right.
But I was just, because I see a lot of ants sometimes going up and down, and I was just wondering if it's something with the ants.
Well, probably not the ants. Ants don't usually bore into a tree. There's usually already an opening there if they would be to go into it itself. The ants could be going further up the tree into the young new growth where there could be some aphids or anything like that the ants actually like the honeydew that is excreted by the ants.
Okay, so what would be the best thing to spray the tree with if I wanted to try, get rid of the ants?
To try to get rid of the ants, I would first look and see if there's any pests on the ends of those branches, and then you can any of your products out there. You can go with like your malathion. You could go with a liquid 7. You could use a safer soap. A neem oil with caution. You don't want to use that when it's going to be 90 degrees out. It just gets a little hot and you get a phototoxicity. Any of your pesticides, though, you want to spray them late in the day, like after, I usually say the 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Kind of thing. Is
okay.
try to spray them real late, and that way your beneficial insects are not out there and being present at the time.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the call. Gosh, we got another minute or 2 minutes actually before the bottom of the hour, and then another half hour. So plenty of time to answer your questions about your lawn, your garden, your mulch, your things you apply to your lawns.
To your lawns, yeah.
A lot of things you can buy right now.
There's all kinds of stuff out there to take care of all the different ailments. It's just like when you go into the drugstore. You just got to figure out what it is that you have a problem with, and then the best thing to take care of that problem, to combat that problem.
Tell me if this is the best thing to buy for what I need. I have the tall but thin, no, not tall, but hard to reach limbs on the tree.
Okay.
That are really out of control.
Okay.
So I used to have, when I lived in Bellevue, I used to have this long rod that had lots of pulleys on it.
Had the little saw on the end of it, or had the clipper on the end?
It had a clipper, and it was real. It went through the wood like butter.
Right.
I guess because of the
you got
leverage.
The leverage, yes.
Yeah. Is that a good? I mean,
those are good. Those are good.
That's what I was thinking about getting again.
Those are for not real big branches, but they also have a saw that will reach way up there.
That would be better, probably.
That has a lever action or like a pulley type action on that will cut the branches that are going to be a bit bigger.
Yeah, the saw would be better, I think, because there are some big ones.
That keeps you from standing on a stepladder and falling off and getting hurt.
Right.
Yeah, we all have watched it. If you haven't, there's some really goofy YouTube and dumb people videos on YouTube of people standing on ladders while operating hand saws or power saws or anything like that. Don't do it.
I think it's a little too high for even a stepladder.
Yeah.
I'll have to see if I could even reach it with one of those things.
Right.
All right. Well, we'll take a little break and be right back. If you want to call Carol Ann, this is a good time to do it. We'll take a little break. You can wait on hold during the break if you'd like. The number is 352-622-WOCA, which is 352-622-9622, and we'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. A vote coming up today could give Congress some clout in a nuclear deal with Iran.
Secretary of State John Kerry is trying to sell Congress on the framework deal, and he's asking lawmakers to
give us the space and the time to be able to complete a very difficult task.
The Obama administration is up against bipartisan support for the Corker-Menendez bill, which gives Congress a say on any nuclear deal.
Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland. Baggage handler in Seattle falling asleep on the job to find himself in the air on his way to Los Angeles. Pilot and some passengers alerted.
Shortly after takeoff, had heard some screams from underneath in the cargo area.
Seattle-Tacoma International Airport spokesperson Perry Cooper says the plane returned to the airport. Man's doing fine. And some key numbers out on the economy. Retail sales up 0.9% in March, with auto purchases helping, and wholesale prices rise in March. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Geico presents Fan Mail to a Pig.
Dear Maxwell, I just want to say thank you for making my Geico Insurance ID card digital. It's easy to find on the app. It doesn't give me paper cuts, and I always have it on hand because it's on my phone. Because of this, I finally cleaned out my glove box, which was filled with years of paper ID cards. Any thought on what I should put in my glove box now? Sincerely, Trent Patterson. Trent, what can you put in the glove box? Here's a crazy thought. How about gloves?
Digital insurance ID cards, just a tap away on the Geico app.
At Napa Auto Parts, we got your car covered. Front to back, left to right. So whether you're looking for a driver's side window motor or a glove box light bulb, you can easily get what you need. Just go to NapaOnline.com. Reserve it now and pick it up in store later. Check it out now and we'll stop messing with your speakers. Or maybe not. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores.
Black Cow composted cow manure is a terrific organic soil amendment. We start with cow manure from dairy farms and then compost it a full 90 days. The result is an all-natural, dark, rich soil amendment that's great for everything you grow. Flowers, vegetables, shrubs, trees, and lawns too. Look for Black Cow in the bright yellow and black bag at your favorite nursery or garden center.
Black Cow, the mature manure, Black Cow.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
The Ocala Rotary Silver Anniversary Golf Scramble is at the Ocala Golf Club Friday, May 1st. Registration and lunch at 11:30 with a shotgun start at 1:30. Prizes include a Toyota for hole in one, closest to the pin, longest drive, par 3 poker, raffle, and every player receives a complimentary round of golf. Funds raised will support the Discovery Center and Rotary Foundation. Only $85 per player. For more information, contact Kay at 732-7080.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. A warm day with clouds and sun today with a shower and thunderstorm around mainly during the afternoon hours. The high 84 to 88. For tonight, mostly cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm in the area early. Low 66 to 70. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a shower or thunderstorm around at the afternoon. High 84 to 88. Thursday, variable cloudiness with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. The high 83 to 87. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Legally Yours, brought to you by Fuller & Fuller Attorneys at Law. On the air every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. with John Fuller, a board-certified civil trial lawyer for over 25 years. John welcomes your questions, from business to complex family matters to legal disputes. So tune in every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. for Legally Yours with John Fuller, right here on WOCA 1370 AM and 96.3 FM, The Source.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing.
WOCA. All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Nice looking Tuesday. Good day to get out in the garden, isn't it?
It sure is.
If you have a question for Carol Ann or just want to comment on anything, you're welcome to do that. The number is 622-9622.
Yeah, every day is a good day to get out in the garden.
Is it?
It is.
Even
it really is.
Some days it's nasty.
Well, on the ones where it's really raining, you don't necessarily want to, just because you end up just a little too dirty, but getting dirt under your fingernails just makes you feel better.
So I'm gonna get a haircut this week.
Oh yeah.
My hair's kind of long.
Yeah, it's getting a little long.
But so is my banana plant. It's gigantic. And I'm debating about whether I should cut that.
Well, no, I wouldn't cut it because now you're getting
really?
new leaves
Good, because it's so tall.
Yeah,
it's like it's got to be. I don't know if I'm exaggerating. 15 feet tall.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, it's way up there.
You're getting some small ones coming up underneath.
Yes.
Too? Yeah.
Yes, get that. Yeah.
Because it makes it. Even people always want to plant bananas to get the bananas. To me, I don't really care whether or not the bananas come on there or not. I think they give a nice tropical look.
I want one.
I mean, it's kind of fun to have it at least flower if you get the, because especially the bananas that are in my yard are really old varieties, and they don't. I don't know. They just don't taste. They might be
they don't taste
yeah,
good.
they're not.
We
not
tried
really
the ones
edible.
at the Cascades. Remember?
Right,
Didn't we
right.
try 'em? Yeah.
But they might actually be plantains. I might try to prepare them as such.
They weren't plantains though.
No.
They're just awful
They
bananas.
just weren't good.
Small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just ornamental more than anything.
No, we had some listeners because I remember commenting on it. And somebody said, "No, you're not doing them right. You got to make them something."
Well, you got to let them get right. But
we tried. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Morning.
Calling from Anthony.
All right.
Good morning, Carolyn.
Morning.
Larry.
Hey, good morning.
I have been diagnosed with being allergic to pesticides and fertilizers.
Okay.
And what can I use as a natural resource? Is there a book that I could purchase?
Oh, I would be just looking through some of the organic gardening publications and things like that. Rodell Press was always a big organic gardening publisher. They have the Organic Gardening magazine, but plus all the other publications that they do. I think University of Florida probably has several publications on organic solutions. So if you went through the university's site, Solutions for Your Life, and then when you bring up that page, and just put in your search inquiry would be organic pest control or organic fertilizers that you can, there's several companies out there that are on the market that do put them out commercially for the homeowner to buy. Espoma uses they use from the poultry industry, so all of theirs is poultry based. You have Black Cow, which is strictly cow manure that's been composted, and none of these are all organic products that are on the market. There are also organic fertilizers. The Alaskan fish fertilizer is one. Most of the Espoma products also contain a lot of the bacillus strains of beneficial bacteriums and things like that that'll help to benefit the soil as well as the plants.
Okay, would that attract more bugs though?
No.
Okay.
No, none of those will attract. None of your organic products actually attract any pests at all. I mean, they're there to. They break down readily in the soil. They are actually beneficial to the soil, and some of your insects that are in the soil are beneficial, even though it might be a cockroach.
Right.
They're there for a reason.
Okay. Would there be a waiting period where what we have put around our plants and used in our garden, would there be a waiting period for me to switch?
To switch from a synthetic into an organic? No, because you're not going for an OMRI listing or anything like that. You're not looking for that organic listing. So there's no, you can just go from, and there's a lot of people who do when they, have had basic practices of say, I'll use synthetic fertilizers, it doesn't matter to me, and then go, you know what, I have children now, I want to go with more organic. You just switch over. It's not going to make a difference.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much, Carolyn.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And actually, because I do use synthetic fertilizers and synthetic pesticides on plants and things like that. But when it comes to my vegetables, when I first put things down, or maybe a few weeks ahead of planting the garden, I might use some of these things in the soil to try to knock some of those pests back. But soon as the plant becomes a size where it's going to be producing fruit, or I am beginning to harvest, I either completely stop using pest control, or what I'm using is going to be one of the organic kind of things, only for the sake of if you're using a synthetic, you've usually got somewhere between a week to 21 days between usage of that and harvest. So green beans you're picking every day, squash you're picking every day, okra you're picking every day, tomatoes you might be able to pick a bunch of them and pick once a week, but still you're only 7 days there. So why would you bother? And at that point too, you've got so many flowers coming on that it's your pollinators are there. So your harvests are a very short period of time. As the plants begin, you get harvesting, you get 3 or 4 pickings out of your green beans. If they begin to decline because of pest issue, you get them out of there. You clean up that area, you plant something else, and you pick another spot and plant some more. And just keep, successively planting. And in the off season, during those hottest couple of months, is the time to get your bed ready, put in a whole bunch of your amendments into the soil, and get it ready, and throw a solarizer. Put a piece of clear visqueen over that. Get it all. First get it all ready. All your compost in, everything raked out smooth. It's all been turned over. Water it well. Put the plastic down. Let nature solarize it. It'll cook that soil down for several inches, eliminating a lot of your weed issues, some disease issues, as well as pest issues.
I'm not so sure if you have a call here or not. It had a weird kind of a different box on the screen. Let me see. Good morning. Are you there? I guess not.
No?
I guess not. Okay, it was kind of a weird box.
Kind of had a different box.
Weird looking box, yeah. So when you have the what is it called? Like the covering that people put, like it looks like red wood chips.
Mulch.
That's mulch.
Yeah.
So when that starts to fade, and you put new stuff down, do you clean up the old one?
I do.
You do?
I actually do. In the springtime, especially, maybe later in the season, you might just throw some fresh on it when you want to fluff it up to make it look nicer. But in the springtime, to me, it's worth throw your tarp on the ground, you rake off all that old stuff from the year before, and put that in your compost pile.
Oh, okay.
And underneath there, then you can throw you some black cow down, your fertilizer down, whatever needs around your shrubs and trees, and you're putting fresh down, and then giving it a good drink, putting fresh mulch down. You're not building up a huge, thick mulch layer around the trees or shrubs, which is changing the grade or getting it piled in amongst the stems of shrubs and things like that, because so many times people don't realize that mulch is getting piled in there. And also when you're removing those things, any of the diseased leaves or pest-ridden leaves that may have fallen throughout the year, you're cleaning those out and getting rid of them. So you're doing just some of the hygiene, garden hygiene. Yeah, it takes a little more time. It takes you an extra, couple of hours to rake the stuff off before you put fresh down. But in the long run, at the end of the year or at the end of the job, it's going to look nicer. It's going to be healthier plants in the long run.
Well, I remember that's what they did at the Cascade. We used to, the Cascades had this service that came in there, and they had a big truck.
Big truck, and they blew it in.
They had this hose that came all the way down from the parking lot, remember?
Yeah, it's those kind of things are a little scary, especially because when they do the red mulch.
But it really looked nice after it was done.
It looks nice once it's done. But, and you can just put on fresh mulch, like looking out the window here under the horses. When they throw some fresh mulch under there, that's not hurting anything to just put it on top, because that's going to sink down over time, but there's no shrub under there. If you were to probably look up underneath those Indian hawthorns that are there, there's lots of mulch, lots of leaves that are starting to get up into those stems. And that to me, rake all that out of there on an annual basis. If you don't want to do it that often, maybe every other year. But I like to do it every year, only because it does allow you to get down to where you're going to put your fertilizer down for those shrubs. If you have micro irrigation that's going directly to them, you can actually get to that line at that point and see whether or not it needs to be replaced or anything like that, some of your maintenance. And it makes you take a look. And it is cleaning out any of those diseased problems. And if you do happen to use the systemics, which if you use the systemics, it's normally early in the season, and gives them a chance to work before the pest issues become a big problem. So it keeps you from having to spray. That you're getting that right at that root zone and not sitting on top of mulch.
So there's no way to refresh it, like to throw some
just
liquid on or something?
Fluff it back up. If you're not using the colored mulch, if you're just using pine bark or pine straw or any of the other the Melaleuca mulch, eucalyptus mulch, I don't recommend cypress mulch only because it's not a readily renewable resource. Cypress trees just take too long to grow.
Oh, okay.
And so we just try to stay away from those for your mulch. They're cheap, but it's not necessarily readily renewable where some of your other ones are. The dyed mulches, they don't hold their color, and those that do, it means they're using something else to hold that color in there. But wood mulch is just, it's going to hold the soil down and hold some moisture in, and you can always just take your fork or your rake or something like that, your garden fork, and toss that around a little bit, and that'll freshen the look of it, or even just coming through and top dressing with a smidge of a little more that it'll go go further, just because it helps to just makes it look a little fresher.
We have about 15 minutes left in the program. That means we need to take a break. If you have a question or just want to call in and say hi, the number is 622-9622. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. A warm day with clouds and sun today with a shower and thunderstorm around mainly during the afternoon hours. The high 84 to 88. For tonight, mostly cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm in the area early. Lows 66 to 70. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a shower or thunderstorm around at the afternoon. High 84 to 88. Thursday, variable cloudiness with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. The high 83 to 87. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Are you still fertilizing flowers and vegetables the old-fashioned way?
Then switch to Dynamite Premium Plant Food. The secret to more flowers, bigger blooms, and more vegetables is consistent feeding. Dynamite Premium Plant Food is formulated for our Florida climate and has a unique coating that releases nutrition consistently, so there are no peaks and no valleys. Dynamite is just a terrific product. It even contains the micronutrients plants need in small quantities for maximum growth. With Dynamite, you get an explosion of color, flowers, and vegetables. Dynamite comes in a handy shake and feed plastic bottle. Just one application will last up to 6 months. For more flowers, bigger blooms, and more vegetables, try Dynamite Premium Plant Food today. Look for Dynamite at your Home Depot or Lowe's garden department. Visit on the web at dynamiteplantfood.com.
What are the most common questions those nearing retirement are asking? Will I outlive my money? Retirement questions like these and many more will be answered every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement with hosts Francois and Julian Pozenet. Francois and Julian will help you put your retirement puzzle together. Catch Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement Saturdays at 9 a.m. on Ocala's News Talk, The Source 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Skip ice cream and have gelato. Yeah, it tastes rich because it's denser than ice cream. Gelato, you should know, has half the fat of most ice creams because it's made with milk, not cream. Go ahead and order the pad thai. Just stick it in the fridge. Eat the cold leftovers the next day. You want the resistant starch. Punctuality is one of the most difficult behaviors to change since it's deeply rooted in a person's personality.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
All right, 10 minutes before 10 o'clock. Gosh, time flies, huh? 10 minutes left in the show. Wow.
Yeah. Time's fun when you're having flies.
So, Rob, flies.
That's a frog say. Yeah.
Time flies.
Time flies when you're having fun, but what a couple frogs say, time's fun when you're having flies.
Oh, and the other one is time flies like an arrow, fruit flies like a banana.
Ah. There you go. That's true.
It's a Marx Brothers thing. So, Robin and I are doing the Zoompa thing with the accordion.
Right.
And so I have a garden question.
Okay.
Everybody says you should find a beer garden. Where is the beer garden? I don't know where the beer garden is.
Where a beer garden would be. Market and Marion used to have a beer garden. I don't know if
Did
they still
really?
do. They called it a beer garden, yeah. But it wasn't really because it was just one place to get a beer.
What
so it
grows
wasn't
in the beer
several-
garden? Just beer?
It would be hops.
Hops!
Well, good times grow in a beer garden.
Good times.
That's
Yes.
yeah. I mean, I guess actually down at Epcot, I think they have a beer garden.
Yeah, I think they do. I don't think they let us in unless we pay.
No, right,
They probably tell you, you got to leave your instrument out in the car.
leave your instrument. Yeah, you're going to drive our crazy playing Oompa music. But speaking of Epcot, the Epcot International Flower and Garden Show is happening right now through mid-May. I think the 17th of May. Then there's, I probably lost my page on that, but we'll see.
Does it mean I'm old that I
that's
actually
my
like
other
that kind of
page.
thing?
No, it means you've taken an interest, that they're pretty. It's neat to look at.
Yeah.
I took my page off of there, but there's
The older I get, the more I like Epcot.
yeah.
So does that make sense?
It probably is the little more adult side of adult meaning mature side of Disney, but it's because it is a little more intellectual, I guess, and you could say in some of it to see the different gardens and things like that. But of course, then again, when I went to Legoland with my daughter and grandson, what's the first thing I'm doing is looking at the plants that are planted there.
Really?
Yeah, so it's we all find some neat stuff in places.
Do you know, Robin pointed this out, that where Barn Hills used to be, the restaurant on the boulevard. Now it's a Dollar General store.
Oh, is that finally what?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and so Robin noticed it. I didn't notice it, but they planted trees, and it's amazing. Like Disney had the foresight to say, you know what, to make this place really come together, we have to have lots of beautiful gardens.
Right.
And so even a little parking lot like at Dollar General, they made it more inviting simply by putting some trees in there.
A little bit cooler feeling, and depending on the trees, I'll have to drive by there. I don't hit that section of 40 too often, but I'll have to try to make a point to drive by there. Depending on what they planted and where it's planted, they may grow up to at least throw a little shade upon the parking lot,
but I
which
think
makes it a little nicer that, hey, we can run in there real quick and look, they've cut shade.
But see, I think I can remember too, and you've been here long enough, you probably have the same memory, that Ocala once had very few trees in the downtown area, and it felt very barren.
Yes, it did.
And somebody made this great decision to change that.
Right.
And it made everything else improve.
Right, when they began to add the trees right on the boulevard.
Right.
And that, it was all very barren, very hot, very concrete, very sterile.
It felt like you didn't want to be here.
Right, it was very
That's
very
why we all went to
urban.
Gainesville. Back in those days.
It was very urban. And then a few years, it's probably been 10 years ago when the America in Bloom began to come about. You had a lot of cities, small towns, especially like Ocala and places like that, who began to participate in these, and they were bringing in plants. They were doing these hanging from the lamp posts, hanging baskets.
No, and it really changes it, doesn't it?
Or storefronts bringing great big urns in and planting them and keeping them maintained.
Yeah.
And actually, Ocala at one point, Marion County, became a Tree City, USA. We did take in that distinction, which was nice, and that meant that it was a revitalization of bringing trees back in. And at about that same time, I noticed, because at that time I drove all the way down to Mount Dora on a regular basis for work, and the medians, once you got out of Marion County, were all right down 441, were well maintained and planted all the way down, not just through the villages, but even once you got down into Lake County and through Tavares and all of those areas around there, they had the muley grasses planted out there, and sort of like what they've done on Fort King. With some of those areas here. And that's, I think all of that grew from that, and it did become much more friendly feeling. a little cooler,
Yes.
a little cooler, a little more inviting,
Absolutely,
I might want to
yeah.
stop for a minute. And I think that's what where that all came from. Is
Smart idea.
Yeah,
And in
it was.
Ocala, it was the crepe myrtles. Is it still?
Crepe myrtles is still a big plant in our area, just because it does not really take a whole lot of care.
But that must have been a conscious decision too.
It was, and I think
Like I think I told you in Lakeland, they have this tree that has this yellow.
the tababuya tree.
Is it I don't know if it's a flower
great
or
big
the leaf.
flower.
Is it
Yeah,
a
the
flower?
great big yellow flower, and there's a couple different colors of the tababuya, but we're sort of on a northern edge, really fringy area on where they're going to do real well. So for us, like the
Isn't that
crepe myrtle
amazing?
came
So
in-
close.
So close, but it just and it does depend on your landscape, on where you're at, on
Yeah.
how well something like that'll do. But a lot of times there's and I think it's the FNGLA has the
What is it called?
FNGLA, Florida Nursery Growers
The
and
F and what?
Landscape. Used to be the FNGA, but no, I can't say
That's
it.
got a funny name.
Florida Nursery Growers and Landscape
FNGLA.
Association.
Where are you going? Going to the FNGLA.
Well, I went to their expo last year. But they do a top 10 plants of the year kind of thing.
Right.
And a lot of times this is what things you'll start seeing planted in communities and landscapes. They become more popular plants. Sometimes it's that they're bringing back plants that sort of had a fade away, that they lost interest. And next thing you know, growers have experimented and hybridized and things like that, maybe brought out some new colors of them, how they make a comeback where suddenly you suddenly start seeing another plant a whole lot. Sometimes that's where it comes from, is like the Florida Nursery Growers and Landscape Association, FNGLA. It's easier to say.
It's easy to say that way.
Yeah.
The FNGLA.
But that's where sometimes that comes from, is that their recommendations, and then the landscapers and all of that pick up on that and start planting planting their
So if
gobs.
if I go to Los Angeles and I call you on my cell phone, you don't
Right.
know where I am. You said, "Where are you?"
Oh, actually, it would give me caller ID. Well, no, not if it was from your phone.
I'm in FNGLA.
Yeah.
I think these are the G's, just my pause trying to remember where I am.
yeah.
I'm in F and
GLA. That's it. Yeah.
All right, I have a $20 gift certificate from Bob Wine's Community Gardens and Nursery. I will give it to you if you call me and tell me what kind of a garden Carol Ann said hops might grow in.
There you go. That's a good one.
If you tell me what kind of a garden, according to Carol Ann, hops might grow in. Now, this is based on today's show.
That's it. It's all in fun.
Not Mr. Smith's garden across the street, because he
No.
grows hops.
Right.
Anyway,
Okay, yeah.
$20. Hold on, I got a call to
Good.
answer.
Yeah, okay.
Good morning. Do you want to take a crack at this one?
I do.
What do you think?
How about a beer garden?
A beer garden
There you go.
is right. All right, who's this?
This is Sally.
Sally, do you know where we are?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, you've got $20 waiting for you for Bob Wines.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Sally.
My whole garden is Bob Wine's.
Oh, really?
There.
Yeah, okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. You must have a beautiful garden. They have a
Yeah.
great selection over there.
Buy some
I don't
hops.
drink beer. I got to have vodka.
Plant you some potatoes.
Vodka.
You can grow your own. That's right. To plant you some batch of potatoes there.
Wow. That would take,
All right, I'll have to look that up.
There you go.
that would take some doing.
Okay.
Thank you, Sally. That was fun. Fun call. Fun show.
That was a fun show.
Carolyn, I think we're done.
We're done for another week. I don't know if I had mentioned it last time, but coming up at the end of this month, I will have someone else in for me,
Where you
and I
going?
will let you. It's actually no, I'm not. I'm taking a different day off. And so I need to work my schedule around. It should be about the 28th of April will be when we'll have somebody sitting in with us.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you, Larry.
We'll be
Great day.
right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Possible ISIS candidates finding pushback from a lot of countries in the UK.
A plane carrying 21